I'm Sam,
I'm Cindy,
and
and
we
we are
are
the
the Dorvilles.
Dorvilles.
All right. So, we started this series so we could help build relationships, strong community, and strong family. So, today we're going to be going over 10 behaviors that destroy relationships. All right. So, behavior number one, you stonewall your partner, you avoid having very difficult conversations. Every time your partner wants to talk about something that's a pressing issue, you avoid having that conversation.
Yeah, that would be like the silent treatment or saying, I'm fine when you know you're not.
I even seen this particular one on steroids, and it ended up being a custody issue. But they could never have a conversation because one partner just completely avoided having this conversation, and then it really blew up into something very different.
Yes, and if you don't talk about it, you can't resolve it. So communication is very important.
Yeah.
Right, another one is you're too distracted. Um, this is when you're having a conversation, do you give your partner your complete undivided attention? Or are you looking at your phone? Are you thinking about something for work? Are you thinking about your to-do list? Are you actually actively listening to what your partner is trying to tell you? Or are you elsewhere? Is it a half listen? Do you catch words here and there and say, okay, yeah, and then 2 seconds later it's completely gone out of your head?
Yeah, I think everybody's guilty of this one in some way or sort. I know for us, we have we have 4 kids, and the only time that we get a little time to ourselves or is in the evenings. So we want to catch up on text, catch up on relationships and stuff like that. And then that distraction takes away from giving your partner the undivided attention that they need to communicate.
Yes, mom overload is real. So there's always 20 different things going through a mom's mind, especially when you have multiple children, thinking about what each one needs and where each one has to be and what I have to get done. So that's a situation where sometimes Sam might ask me to do something and I file it in the to-do list, but I'm thinking about 20 other things. So then it's gone like that. Or Sam will be listening to something on his earbuds and won't even really hear what I'm saying, or will catch just a part of it and say, and then he won't do whatever I asked. So it's very important to make that eye contact.
For sure.
Especially if it is an important subject topic. Like, hey, babe, this is important. I need you to listen, so that you know your partner is actively listening.
Well, number 3, you get defensive. All right. I've seen this one in action a lot. All right. And honestly, I think I see this one more from the female perspective than the male perspective, but it does happen both ways. So you struggle when your partner tells you the truth, and what happens is when you get defensive, you can no longer listen to your partner.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think obviously women are a little more sensitive, so men may be more straight to the point, and it may come off a little more abrasive to females.
I agree.
But also, females may use too many words, and so your defenses just go right up because all the words are coming at you, and you just need to block that.
Word salad.
All right, number 4, you criticize too often. Obviously, being critical of your partner without also in turn showing your appreciation and building them up can only break down a relationship. If you're constantly nitpicking things that your partner does and that you don't like about your partner, or the way they think about things or the way they do certain things, obviously we're 2 different people. We're going to have different ways of doing different things. That doesn't make one way right or one way wrong. So you need to communicate. If you are having an instance where, it's causing some friction, communicate about how you can compromise to work through that instead of just picking at your partner.
If you can, always keep it playful and make sure both sides are playing. That's the key. All right. So I often have playful jabs, but it works in our relationship because it goes both ways and it's always playful. So if it did affect our relationship, I would definitely not do it. and vice versa. So just be careful. Be careful of that. Number 5, you idealize your partner. You're more worried about what they will be in the future than where they're currently at right now. So you're constantly trying to adjust and fix them to make them your ideal partner. All right. One way that this happens is, I've seen it happen, is when we get married, things are going to change. All right. For me, that's a scary button.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're not okay with who your partner is right now, even if you see the potential, that doesn't mean they're going to necessarily achieve what you think they should achieve or change to the way you want them to be. You have to be willing to accept your partner for who they are right now. And if things change in a positive direction for you, that's an extra bonus. But if you can't love them for who they are in all their imperfect ways, then it's probably not the right person.
Yeah.
Number 6, you ignore your past. Everyone has past. Some people hide it. Some people word vomit it all over the place. But, if you have traumas that you haven't fully dealt with, relationship issues from your parents' relationship or how your parents treated you, relationships that you may have had before your current relationship, all of those little pieces will come with you into the new relationship. And sometimes they can hurt you more than they can help you. If you haven't healed from the traumas or you haven't forgiven people in the past, those things can cause issues in your new relationship.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the ways that I see this come up the most is trust issues. Right? The trust issue happened in a previous relationship 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and this new person in your life is taking a shellacking because you haven't fully dealt with that. So be mindful of that and understand that these things do have carryover. It shouldn't be your partner's problem. This problem is something that you should take care of and then walk into a relationship.
Yeah, and there may be some things that are certain triggers for you, and you may find yourself being very reactionary in certain situations, and that can often be traced back to some past trauma as well. So it might not be something specifically that your partner's doing, but when they say a certain key word or do a specific action that is completely, harmless, essentially, that may trigger you because of past issues. So you have to be aware of that and then find a way to heal from it.
Number 7, you mislead your partner, right? You lie to your partner. You tell them white lies. You omit certain type of information. All of those behaviors are destructive behaviors. So knowing and understand that your partner deserves a level of communication, a level of trust and honesty to feel comfortable, and vice versa, is really important.
Yeah, the most solid relationships are built on trust. So if you are catching your partner in these little white lies, it's only natural to wonder what in the future they might lie about and start to question all their actions or all the things they're saying and what is true and what's not true. So if you want to have a true solid relationship, it starts with the truth.
I agree.
Number 8, you keep score. In a healthy relationship, you should never keep score. You should never be keeping track of all the wrongdoings of your partner every time they made a mistake. If you're keeping track of all those things so that you can throw it back in your partner's face when they come at you with some issue, then that's just destructive behavior. There's no way that you're going to have open, honest, constructive communication if you're just throwing back and forth what each other has done wrong in the past.
Yeah, this gives you a false sense of control. I've been guilty of this in the past. I used to keep score all the time, and then right when I get into a heat of battle, I will roll that grenade out that I had stashed in my back pocket and hit with a low blow because I've been keeping score. And then I kind of saw how that functioned and operate and how that wasn't good for my relationship. So
yeah, You keep score when you have an opponent and you're going against someone. In a relationship, you should be partners and you're on the same team. So you should never keep score.
Yeah. Number 9, you shame your partner. You talk down to them in front of people, in public. You don't encourage them. You're not careful with your words. Relationships are very complex, and being careful with your words is definitely something that's very important, especially men, because we struggle with tone. So if you shame your partner, you degrade them, you talk down to them, that's destructive behavior.
Yeah, and it's obviously a way of trying to control your partner. You belittle them to make yourself feel better and to lift yourself up to a higher position so that you can later exert control over them. And that's obviously very unhealthy.
Yeah.
Number 10, you expect too much. Your partner's not perfect and they can't read your mind. They don't know exactly what you're thinking and how you're feeling and what you want. So those are all things that you need to learn to express because your partner's not psychic.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't expect them to do these things unless you've had good communication about what your needs are and how they can best address those.
So one of the biggest things why relationships don't survive is missed expectations, right? I remember growing up, I had this vision of my wife cooking this meal for me every night, and it didn't line up, right? So having having this conversation about different expectations and agreeing on these expectations are going to be what helps your relationship survive in the future.
Absolutely. Are there any other behaviors that you've seen destroy relationships? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please comment below. If you want to see more of our videos, please hit like and subscribe.